Good morning. Ka tangi te titi, ka tangi te kaka, ka tangi hoki aho, ti hei Māori ora. Ko Ashawa te maunga te ru nei o taku nā kao. Ko Derwin te awa e mahia nei aku mahara. No ingarangi oku tipuna. E noho ana matau ki o tatahia nai anei. E mihi ana ki nia tohu o nehe o o tatahi e noho nei au. Ko Ali Adams tako ingoa. Kai te whakawhetai o I tēnei wā, ki te tuki konei, ko rero ai ki a tātou katoa, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. It is a real pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much for asking me to come along. I am Ali Adams, CEO of Christchurch NZ, the Sustainable Economic Development Agency for Christchurch. And before I start, I just wanted to say how glorious it is to be here and see this room full. This is the first time I've presented to a full room here, and it's fantastic. This is a beautiful facility that I'm going to talk about a little bit, but it is just wonderful to see you all here, so welcome. So I'm going to rattle through quite a lot of slides. Apologies, it's going to be a bit of a whistle-top tour, but hopefully it won't be too much. Lots of pictures, not many words. That's my intention. Not because I'm judging you as an audience, just because that kind of suits me. So look, I'm sure many of you haven't been here in a long time, and I wanted to welcome you to what is New Zealand's oldest and newest city. And I'm going to, as I say, take you on a bit of a tour. I thought I'd start by talking about why we're the newest. Oh, I've gone too quickly. Should never let me in charge of the clicker. That is a very early error that my team learned. So why are we the newest city? It shows up in the stunning architecture and new infrastructure that is peppered throughout the whole of the city. So we're lucky enough, as I mentioned, to be meeting in this phenomenal facility. It is the most beautiful and newest convention centre in the world at the moment. Wellington will be coming on next year, and then New Zealand will have two of the best in the world, which is fantastic. So it's a wonderful thing for this city and country of ours. And you can check out the beautifully re-landscaped Takaro River Loop, and if you get time to have a wander around Hagley Oval in Hagley Park, you can see our famous world-class cricket ground. But mixed in amongst all this beautiful new stuff is our heritage. So this is where our oldest city comes up. If you look out of the window here at Te Pai, you'll be able to see Victoria Square, where the earliest settlers traded with Māori. Or just 10 minutes walk from here, or if you're feeling ambitious, a 3-minute zip on an electric scooter, is the gorgeously restored Gothic revival architecture of the Arts Centre, which was once the University of Canterbury, and where some University of Canterbury classes are still taught. We're a really walkable city, surrounded by green spaces, and we have really vibrant new gathering places. If you haven't already been there, I don't know when people got into town, but you must check out Riverside Market. It's got 3 stories of beautiful food stalls and bars, or you could wander down Cashel Street, the retail heart of the city, to the bars and restaurants along the terrace. The whole central city is stacked with new buildings, really interesting laneways filled with shops that weren't there before, and really fresh, beautiful public spaces. It just hits all the right notes as a city, and I feel very privileged to be living here and to be leading this city at this particular time in its evolution. Students that study here and live here will receive not only an internationally recognised education in this amazing city, but they get the opportunity to base themselves somewhere where they can experience the city's backyard. That's the rest of the South Island. It's a city that's really well connected with gateways to adventure, great employment opportunities and the future. And for those of you who haven't been here for a while, the diversity of what is New Zealand's second largest city, with a population of almost 500,000 in Greater Christchurch, it might be quite surprising. 22% of us were born overseas, and including myself, as you can hear. And more diversity means more inclusivity, and that means a more welcoming experience for students. So it's something we're very proud of and something we're keen to encourage. The central city is a really welcoming playground. It's full of art galleries, museums, gyms, theatres, and if you haven't been next door to the incredible Tūranga Library, which is not just a study space, but also a maker's space with studios where you can make music and videos, 3D print, laser cut creations. There's even a sewing studio in there. I really recommend it. For those of you who don't know, when we were rebuilding Christchurch after the earthquake, it was one of our anchor projects, and we asked the children of Christchurch what they wanted to see in their library, and they talked about Harry Potter floating staircases. And when you go in there, you can see that the staircases have been built with that in mind. It's really beautiful. Also has a really excellent cheese scone in the cafe, apparently. Yeah. And we're also home to beaches, mountain biking, hiking, and hot pools. We have more than 700 parks in this city and the largest mountain bike park in the Southern Hemisphere. There are 14 ski areas, as well as mountains, beaches, rivers, and lakes, all within Canterbury and all accessible for a day trip. We like to boast that this is one of the handful of places in the world where you can ski in the morning and surf in the afternoon. And of course, as I mentioned, Christchurch is the gateway to the wider South Island and the amazing recreational opportunities of Te Waipunamu. The South Island of New Zealand is on the bucket list of pretty much every traveller in the world, and in Christchurch it really is right on your doorstep. Students are often the first on the ski fields in the winter, the first on the waves in the summer, and the first to take up any opportunity to explore mountaintops, rivers, waterfalls, and everything in between. So as you can see, we're rightfully proud of our new, beautiful city and the access we have to so much fun on our doorstep and further beyond. But it's more than that. It's not just about having an amazing place to live and work and study. Studying in Christchurch opens up pathways to a really thriving employment sector. It's no secret that unemployment is at record lows and that employers are crying out for workers. This is a city full of jobs. The Canterbury economy is growing at a higher rate than the national average, and it has a very genuine current and future long-term skills shortage. If you look at the number of jobs advertised online in New Zealand, they hit a record high in the September quarter, up 14% from the same time the previous year. And there's a wide range of sectors looking to employ people with a diverse range of skills, knowledge, and career desires. And you can see a few on there. And what about in Canterbury specific? They're for New Zealand. But it was highlighted by a fascinating series of speakers at an event I was at last week about the future of work. The days of seeing the path to employment as getting one qualification and expecting to work in the same industry for your entire career, they're history. It's over. So students today can expect that they'll have 18 different jobs across 5 industries where all skills are valued and workers are expected to be lifelong learners. It's changing and we need to be ready. Christchurch is a city that offers real top-level education. We already have a fantastic tertiary education sector here in Christchurch, and 3 of our university campuses are ranked in the top 1% in the world, and we've got 2 highly regarded polytechnics. Students can get a traditional education through diplomas and degrees, or they can get hands-on vocational training to set them up for real-world experiences. And Christchurch is known... Did I miss that one? I feel like I missed that one. So Christchurch is known for having a really balanced economy. We have a lot of SMEs here in Christchurch, and we have a strong manufacturing base, especially in highly skilled manufacturing. And I wanted to share this quote with you. We recently carried out a survey with over 4,000 residents here to find out what makes Christchurch special. So we're doing a piece of city narrative so that we can talk about why we are a place where people should come and live, work and study. And this really stood out to me. Christchurch is a manufacturing hub. We manufactured things the world didn't know they needed. I love that. It's so true. We have amazing companies in this city, and they're leading the world in niche areas. I'd never heard of half of them until I started working in the public sector and had the privilege of hearing their stories. It really is true. And another quote that came from that survey also really stood out. There is no Western city anywhere else that's better prepared for the future. We're so ready. We're way more ready to face big issues than any other city. And that's true too. And it comes back to this point I made earlier about feeling very privileged to be leading the Economic Development Agency at this stage in Christchurch's journey. It truly is a city on the cusp of something amazing. And with the challenges we're facing in the world at the moment, there is no city better placed to be able to embrace and help to adapt to those challenges of the future. And our city's innovation ecosystem is a big part of being ready for that future. This is where our best ideas are nurtured from the spark of inspiration through to the path to commercialisation. This is where the challenges of tomorrow are being worked on today, and it's where the high-wage, high-growth jobs of the future will emerge from. I'm sure Mariam will talk about it later when you hear from her. So I want to highlight 2 aspects of Christchurch NZ's work that are really relevant here. And the first is that innovation system. That ecosystem where we fund and facilitate business incubators and accelerators in partnership with our tertiaries. That means that there's a really supportive network for students, aspiring entrepreneurs, and even unemployed people who want to start up or ramp up their own business. That pathway from learning to entrepreneurship is a key part of our appeal to students and those looking to make their own way in the world. And the startup ecosystem in Christchurch is humming. Last year, we moved up a staggering 168 places in the global rankings on Startup Blink. They look at 1,000 cities across the world to see how they are performing in the startup and founder incubator space. And we're now in the top 250 cities in the world, which is just quietly ahead of Wellington. And it's the biggest jump in rankings the report's authors have ever seen. Now, we've still got more to go. I'd like to get into the top 150, so maybe even the top 100, but it's a fantastic sign of the great work that's happening from people like Marion at the Ministry of Awesome to help support that innovation ecosystem. The other stream of work I want to highlight is the work we do at Christchurch NZ to support and nurture high-growth, high-wage clusters. These are sectors where the region has three things, essentially: a genuine competitive advantage, an opportunity of scale, and an industry who, in layman's terms, can play nicely together. So a collaborative industry that can see that they, by working together, they can achieve more than they could achieve on their own. And these are the four areas that we currently have of sectors: global health tech, aerospace and future transport, food, fibre and agri-tech, which sounds enormous. It's much more defined than that. We specifically play in the agri-biotech space, and high-tech solutions. And these strategic strength clusters are supported by progressive ecosystems that connect enterprise, education and government. So students' futures are bright with masses of opportunities in these clusters. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. I'm going to click again. Oh, I'm building it up. Look at that. Who knew? Ooh, look, I'm just going to do this now. It's like I've got the power. Look. Student futures are bright with masses of opportunities in these clusters, and the likelihood of getting a job straight after graduating, it's a real thing. And there are internships available that you can, that students can take while still studying. So have a look at some of the fields of study that ladder up to the city's key clusters that I just talked about. That's all from me. That's plenty. I feel like it was a lot of slides and a lot of more words than I promised you. So I hope I've whetted your appetite a little bit to explore our wonderful city, both for you whilst you're here and on behalf of the students that you advise. Between our amazing new city, our increasingly diverse people, our world-class educational institutions and the career opportunities of our dynamic innovation ecosystem and high-growth clusters, it just makes sense. Pretty exciting. So if you'd like to learn more, we do have a booth where you can come to find out more about studying in Christchurch. And while you're there, you can also enter our competition for a weekend in Christchurch, which includes pampering at our beautiful beachside hot pools and spas and other attractions. Ngā mihi nui, and I'd like to leave you with another welcome, which is a welcome to your students' next campus. And I'm going to play the video, which I promise someone has told me they have embedded. Let's see.
Welcome to my campus.
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 Thank you very much.